Before we begin, we'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land and waterways on which we are recording today, the Wurundjeri Woi-wurrung people and the Bunurong people of the Eastern and Greater Kulin Nation. We pay our deepest respects to their elders, past and present. We extend that respect to all First Nations people listening and watching today, and we honour that their sovereignty was never ceded. We acknowledge that their enduring and unbroken connection, as well as their contributions to their storytelling, continued fight, deep understanding, commitment, and their continued care for country, lands, waterways, sky, culture, and communities. We stand with them in their ongoing calls for truth-telling, treaty, sovereignty, justice, land rights, and reconciliation. This was, and always will be, Aboriginal land. There's a moment, twice a year, when Naarm-Melbourne literally stops in its tracks. The golden light of the setting sun pierces through the city's canyons, lighting up Bourke Street like a cosmic laser show. No filters, no sign of photoshopping either. It's just physics, geometry, and the city designed with perfect mathematical perfection. Welcome to MElBHENGE, Naarm-Melbourne's own Stonehenge moment. And if you've never seen it, imagine this. Photographers stand shoulder to shoulder, people in suits and high-vis, like stop mid-commute, trams sliding through molten gold in the whole city washing in amber glow. It's fleeting, it's magical, and it truly is Melbourne in its cinematic best. So please hit the like, share, comment, and subscribe here on YouTube. Follow us on Down the Yarra, Podbean, and across all our socials for more local history, hidden gems, and wild yet true Naarm-Melbourne and South Central Victorian stories every week. Before we begin, quick heads up on today's episode contains references of visual crowding, bright light exposure, and brief historical references to accident near intersections during MElBHENGE events. So, if that's something that might be difficult for you, please take care while listening and watching this episode. Of course, if this is not the right time for you, completely understand, as your well-being comes first. Please consider to either pause, skip, or check out one of our lighter episodes. Yet, if you do choose to go with this episode, remember to please always listen and watch with care. Thanks. Welcome to Down the Yarra, the podcast that takes you on a deep dive into the heart and soul of Naarm-Melbourne and South Central Victoria. Whether you're a local or just curious, this podcast is for you. Hey, I'm your host, Andy, and today we're chasing the sun, quite literally, in the city. MElBHENGE is no coincidence here. It actually happens when the sun perfectly aligns with the east-west streets of Naarm-Melbourne's iconic Hoddle Grid, which was first laid out in 1837 by General Surveyor Robert Hoddle. He designed Melbourne streets 99 feet wide on a near-perfect rectangular grid that runs parallel to the mighty Burong, i.e. the Yarra. But because of that exact alignment, twice a year, near late Feb and late October, early November, thereabouts, the sun actually sets dead centre along the streets framed between the skyscrapers. Its geometry lesson in gold light, a phenomenon that urban explorers would call urban solar alignment, yet the locals simply refer to it as MElBHENGE. If you've been there, definitely know the vibe. The hum of trams fade for a moment. All phones rise in unison. You hear the gasp of amazement, cheers, even applause from Collins, Bourke to Lonsdale, William to Swanston Street Walk. It's a communal pause that truly transcends daily chaos here in the city. In a way, MElBHENGE reconnects us with something more primal. It's like ancient gatherings at Stonehenge, Uluru, etc., where alignments with the sun marked time, seasons, and ceremony. In Naarm-Melbourne, this is not a pagan ritual, but it's a shared moment of awe, where the modern city meets its cosmic rhythm. The exact dates that vary slightly every year, depending on the Earth's tilt, but you can usually catch it between Feb 23 to 24 and October 21st to November 6th at sunset, thereabouts anyway. But the best vantage points in the city are actually looking west towards Docklands from Bourke Street, or Lonsdale Street towards State Parliament, or better yet, the steps of Parliament, looking down at the top from the top of Bourke. Of course, there's also less glamorous sides. Blocked traffic, people standing in lanes, influencers trying to nearly getting hit, chasing the perfect shot. Melbourne City Council in the past has issued crowd safety reminder in recent years because, as beautiful as it is, MElBHENGE is not meant to be experienced in the middle of the road. Over time, MElBHENGE has become one of those accidental cultural events, not officially organised, but yet viral, intensely viral, like the first tram ride of spring, or the smell of rain on Swanston Street Walk after a 40-degree day. And speaking of culture, if you want an in-depth visual breakdown of MElBHENGE, I highly recommend checking out Julian O'Shea's video on YouTube. He dives deep into the geometry, photography, spots, and even how to calculate your own solar alignment moments. Trust me, his take is a perfect companion to this episode. It's worth remembering that Hoddle's 1837 grid wasn't drawn with astronomy in mind. It's about land parcels, drainage, as well as efficiency, a cultural dream of order over chaos. Yet somehow these practical lines now host a celestial event that pulls people together, artists, scientists, photographers, and dreamers alike. The rush of the city life, MElBHENGE reminds us that even concrete and glass can align with nature as well. That even in the heart of bustling modern city, the sun still finds its perfect path. When you stand there watching the molten lights pour down Bourke Street, you actually realise Naarm-Melbourne isn't just a place on a map. It's actually a living, breathing alignment of history, design, and nature, all in one package. A city that, even just for 2 nights a year, feels like it's in sync with the universe. Next time in Down the Yarra, we're heading just up the road to the historic Melbourne City Bus. We'll dive into the rich social history, its fight for public hygiene and equality, and yes, the curious little tram control tower that stands opposite. It's like a time capsule of Melbourne's electric age. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss this one. Seriously. As always, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe here on YouTube, and follow Down the Yarra on Podbean and across all our socials for more journeys through Naarm-Melbourne and South Central Victoria's stories, from the light of MElBHENGE to the baths that built a city. Thanks for joining me and listening in. Until next time, I'm your host, Andy, reminding you to keep your eyes on the horizon, because Naarm-Melbourne's next story might just be glowing in gold.